A very warm welcome to all of you joining us on live stream for this pre-race press conference for round 4 of the Idemitsu FIM Asia Road Racing Championship. We're here at Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit on the Indonesian paradise island of Lombok, and I'm sure I speak for everybody in ARRC when I say how delighted we are to be back racing in Indonesia after a 5-year hiatus. We have a lot of rider interviews coming for you over the next few hours. This is round 4, which therefore marks the beginning of the second half of the season. So it's worth recapping the first half before we get into the interviews. So there are a few patterns emerging. Let's start with ASB 1000. And there's a bit of a pendulum swing between Marcus Reiterberger, who's currently leading, and Haruki Noguchi. Marcus had a difficult opening round in Buriram, but came back incredibly strongly with a double win in Sepang, and then a P2 and a P1 at Sugo to give him a 26-point lead from Haruki Noguchi, who started well, but had a pretty miserable home round at Sugo. So they currently sit at 1 and 2 in the standings, but right behind them are defending champion Zakwan Zaidi for Honda Asia Dream Racing by Showa, former champion and teammate of Marcus Reiterberger, Aslan Shah, rookie sensation Andy Farid Izdihar, and Kazma Daniel Kazmayuddin, who took his first podium of the season and indeed his first win in Sugo. So that's ASB 1000. Turning to Supersport 600, it is Bunsu Honda's Khairul Idampawi that has been reigning supreme in an incredibly talented and close field that includes his teammates Helmi Asman and Azroy Anwar, Honda Racing Thailand's Nakarin Atirapuvapat, Soichiro Minamoto for Yamaha Gen Blue, and Kito Abe for 1XOX TKKR. Kito built on a solid start to the season with some good early results, but he really got a breakthrough in round 3 where he took a win and a second place. So, Khairul Idampawi, Kip, begins round 4 with a 27-point advantage over Abe, with Nakarin and Helmi just behind them, in fact within 3 points of 1XOX's Japanese star. Turning next to AP250, the standings show imposing dominance of Indonesia's Astra Honda racing team. As well as their technical and on-track brilliance, it's consistency that has gotten them there, with only 1 DNF between them in 6 races. However, they have been pushed to their limits on multiple occasions by riders such as Aiki Niyoshi for Motul Sniper Manual Tech and his teammate Irfan Ardiansyah, and Honda Racing Thailand's Mukladar Sarapuch and Jakripat Putisan. So it's all open for the AP250. And now the most difficult part, which is summarizing the Underbone 150. That's the biggest challenge so far for me this weekend. But Nazrul Bahudin is a deserving championship leader after the first 3 rounds, thanks to some magical racecraft in the last 3 races that saw him get 2 wins and a podium. Leading the charge behind him is the emerging talent of Murabil Vitoni and the resurging talent of former double champion Kupita Krishna. And if I was to begin highlighting the other genuine contenders in Underbone 150, we wouldn't have time for rider interviews. So let's finish the recap by looking at the TVS Asia One-Make Championship. Now in its second season, the class is providing ever more thrilling on-track battles. The 2022 champion, Vorapong Malahuan, comes into round 4 with a lead of just 1 point over Muzakir Mohammed. what's been making it so fascinating this year is the mix of exciting young riders like Fugo Tanaka and Taiyo Sato, and experienced stars like Vorapong, Muzakir, and also Piawat Patumyos and Ramdan Rosley. Mandalika will be posing some stern questions to all those riders, and we can't wait for the next chapter, which starts tomorrow morning. Now, on to the rider interviews, and I'm delighted to be joined for this first session by Markus Reiterberger, by Kito Abe, Hurjan Atner Firdaus, Nazrul Izzat, and Ramdan Rosley. And Markus, it's with you that I would like to begin. I did mention this was something of a pendulum swing for you since the start of the season, and congratulations on those superb performances in round 2 and round 3. So what was the key that opened the door to you getting to where you are now?
Hello all, thank you to be here. Yes, for me, the first event in Buriram was a little bit difficult. Place 4 and 6 was not the main goal which we want to reach, but we used it as a test, let's say. In the end, we focused on the data, we checked what was wrong, and we changed some things on the bike and also on the setup for the tires, which was the main improvement for us. So for sure, also Sepang helped me a lot because I like the track very, very well. And also Sugu now I like a lot, even if I don't know it before. So I hope that I also can be fast here in this track, which I also don't know. But I think the bike now is in a good behavior. The team is also in good shape. Me too, and we try our best.
Good. And as you mentioned, Sugo was a first time. Mandalika is also a first time for you. How have you been preparing for it?
Sugu, to be honest, I only check some onboard videos where I already understand the gears, the RPMs, and for sure the layout. Now I try to do this same here, or I already did, by watching some onboards from Toprak and Quattararo to learn the track. For sure, the gears and the RPMs are not comparable, but at least I know where to go. And normally I'm easy to learn the tracks. For me, it's easy normally to learn tracks, but you never know what's happened here.
Yeah, what are you expecting to be the key parts of this circuit?
I heard from some World Superbikes that the grip level is not as high as you expect. So I think we really have to work on this area the most. And the rest I really don't know where can be the key points, but for sure the last 2 turns, especially the really slow one, will be difficult to learn.
Yeah, a lot of trail breaking into turn 16 for sure. Okay, finally, or almost finally, outside of racing, which you do a lot, because of course you're in the World Endurance Championship as well. What do you do to relax, to enjoy yourself when you're not racing?
When I'm at home, I have my own workshop. I do some two-stroke tuning, make exhaust pipes and some cylinder porting. This is my hobby and also my second job, let's say. And yeah, that's where I can relax. Also be home with my family, friends, girlfriend. I enjoy a lot of free time, yes.
And you have some two-stroke motorcycles yourself?
A lot, yes. And also I have a lot of practice bikes. I do a lot of speedway, long track, enduro, motocross, but most of the time in the moment, beside racing, I spend in the workshop to build another job for the future after racing. I already started to do this.
Yeah, you've mentioned that you have a lot of support from the people you race with and the people in your personal life. Is there anything you'd like to say to those people?
I think the only thing I can do is say thank you to everybody who support me all my race career, and I hope that in one time I can pay it back for the next generation or for them, and I'm really thankful for this.
Markus Reiterberger, thank you so much, and wishing you the best for this weekend.
Thank you.
Let's move on to definitely an emerging star of Supersport 600, Kito Abe. Kito, you started the season with really good consistency, got some points in, and then at Sugo, you had two fantastic performances. How do you feel about your position in the championship now?
Yes, Sugo race 1 is perfect win, but race 2 is I'm not so happy. And the championship, very big gap to Paui. And yes, this round more what do you mean?
Well, yeah,
Small gap.
yeah, narrow the gap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Okay, and what was the key, do you think, to Kip winning the second race in Sugo? Where did he? What was his advantage over you? What would you improve your performance through the race to avoid being beaten late in the race, as by Kip, for example? Is it tire management?
Yes, very difficult time management and I can't up the average time. So yes, like
Okay, and what about your preparations for Mandalika? Have you been here before?
yes. Last year I watched World Superbike.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
All right. So, what preparations have you been making for this time on Supersport? Where are the key parts of the circuit?
Yesterday I walked on track. I think maybe very difficult track because very hard braking and yes, I'll do my best.
We know that, and as somebody now who's achieving a big following in Japan, it seems that you're inspiring a lot of younger riders to come into the sport. What advice would you give to young riders coming in now? Riders beginning their careers. You are establishing yourself. You have a lot of fans in Japan. What advice would you give to those who want to follow you?
I think enjoying the race. Yes, that's all.
I think that's really profound advice, actually. And finally, here's an easy one for you. Deliver a message in Japanese to your fans back in Japan.
In Japanese?
In Japanese, yeah.
いつも応援ありがとうございます。初めてのサーキットなんですけど、しっかりまたスゴみたいに強い自分を見せれるように頑張りたいと思いますので応援よろしくお願いします。Thank you.
Kito Abe, thank you, and we wish you the best for this weekend. So now the microphone passes to Astra Honda Herjanatna Firdaus. Herjan, it's great to have you here in the press conference. We saw you emerge really strongly in Astra Honda, particularly later last season, and this season you've really been looking strong all the way through. So, and you performed brilliantly in the last time out in round 3 at Sugo. Give us a little insight into your experiences in round 3.
In Sugo, race 1, I was not so happy because I cannot get the podium and close the gap with my teammate Reza. In the race 1, I try push more so I can win, but the gap still, the point gap still not so close. So I will try again here for close the gap with Reza.
Yeah, it's really interesting to watch you three guys because the three of you do sit right at the top of the championship. How do you manage that competition?
Uh, uh, in the outside the track, we are close friend, but in the track, we will race like normal, no, like normal, but not like a friend, like normal.
But also not like enemies, like competitors, right?
Yes, competition, not enemies.
That's right. And what are you aiming to do? You have, as you mentioned, a 39-point gap to you and Razor, who's sitting at the top. What's your plan for this weekend?
This weekend, I try to win the race, and but my teammate here in the last month we have national championship here. Reza was quite strong here, but I will try to fighting with him in the race tomorrow.
Yeah, and in the on this circuit, there's a tight first sector and a really challenging final sector. Talk about that final sector. Where is it really important to get in front?
Here the most important is final sector. The strategy in the last lap is important to get the position.
Yeah, into turn 16, right?
Yes, in the turn 16.
Second last turn, yeah. Okay. Jim, we wish you the best for this weekend. But, first of all, you're here at your home race in Indonesia. Say something to your fans in your own language.
Halo teman-teman semua, penggemar balap Indonesia. Doakan saya dan dukung saya untuk bisa menjadi juara di Mandalika seri 4 ARRC ini. Doakan saya yang terbaik supaya bisa menjadi juara. Terima kasih.
Jim, all the best for this weekend. And if you'd be good enough to pass the microphone to your left to the Underbone 150 championship leader after the first half of the season. Nazrul, is that? Nazrul, this is, like me, this is your first visit here, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so welcome. Nazrul, you've had, particularly the last 3 races have been amazing. You seem to have found something really special in the final stages of a race where you run into the line and somehow emerge first. So, what would you say is the key to those to winning? Because everybody is really close. The number of quality riders in Underbone is ridiculous. There are maybe 15 riders capable of winning. What makes you different?
Because first kali saya cuba untuk fokus masa race dan saya tengok pada strategi Dita dan saya set up dengan motor saya dan tim, so saya dapat lebih baik dekat track Jepun dan saya memenangi 2 race kali dengan race 1 nombor 1, race 2 nombor 2. So alhamdulillah strategi saya dapat berjalan dengan lancar.
Yeah, so you come in as championship leader. How do you feel about the rest of the season?
Saya rasa sekarang masih tidak selamat kerana saya kena fokus dekat track Mandalika ni untuk menaiki podium lagi.
Yeah, looking back to Sugo, did you have any unexpected challenges on the track from other riders? What surprises did you experience during the races in Sugo?
Saya just fokus dan tengok pada race selalu.
And as an experienced rider now, what advice would you give to younger riders coming into Underbone in particular, to how they can move from being fast to being on the podium? Because that's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
How to make that step? What's the key?
Saya kena bekerja keras lagi untuk menaiki podium kerana poin pun tak berapa jauh. So saya kena fokus pada race ni dan insyaAllah ada rezeki saya menaiki podium lagi. Itu je.
Okay, so stepping outside of racing, how do you keep yourself sharp mentally and physically outside of your time on track?
Okay, saya selalu pergi buat fitness dan saya selalu tengok race-race yang yang lepas, apa yang kesilapan saya. So dari situ saya perbetulkan balik saya punya kesilapan dan saya hanya fokus dan gembira ni. Gembira masa race, itu je. Dan saya tak nak banyak berfikir tentang leader championship kerana dia akan membuatkan satu pressure untuk saya.
Okay, so and you also play football, right? So more competition.
Yeah, more.
That's good. Finally, Nazrul, give a shout out to your fans in Malay.
Pada kawan-kawan saya dan family saya yang selalu support saya, doakan saya pada race kali ini untuk menaiki podium, insyaAllah.
Nazrul, thank you so much, and we wish you the best for this weekend. Enjoy.
Thank you.
And last but definitely not least is a rider with a lot of momentum in the TVS Asia One Make Championship. You had a fantastic outing last time in Sugo, which to some extent made up for bad luck in round one. What were the main challenges you faced in Sugo?
Yeah, for me in Sugo, I think that Sugo is not the easy track because Sugo is the very technical track, one of the technical track in Asia Racing Championship calendar. So the main challenging for me is to adapt the track as fast as soon, to set up the bike, to have the good setup and machine for the Sugo race track. But anyway, I arrived in Sugo racing track. I have really confident to give the best result in that weekend because I know if I have a good setup in suspension, everything was going in the right way to fight in the podium and also in the win.
Yeah, and as a rider, where do you feel your advantages are? What kind of, is it with corner speed, is it with braking, but what is it?
Yeah, in TVS category, I think I was not advantaged at all because I have a bit weight compared to the other rider. Because the other rider, I think different to me, minimum was 5 kg. So in the straight, for sure I will lose. But I try to a little bit have extra in the cornering speed and also some technical corner to give some close gap to the front group. But after this 3 rounds, I try to understand where is my advantage to beat some lighten rider, to have a close every time in the race. And I know it's not going to be easy because now TVS Championship coming more rider and also some 4-5 rider, very professional rider and also some experienced rider. So it will be more competitive in this category.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is competitive. What do you think about Mandalika circuit?
Yeah, for Mandalika, I think when I was seeing the video, it's like very high speed track and also flowing track. It's not technical track, but anyway, I was watching a Moto3 race, and for sure, compared to ARRC calendar, I think it's most like Buriram, but in Mandalika have more corner compared to Buriram, so will be interesting for me to start tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we're all looking forward to it. What about your non-race passions? What else do you do to keep yourself entertained and happy in between races?
Before race, normally I make the same as the other rider. Try to keep as well the physical and fitness for body to get ready in whatever situation to be ready before the race, and to keep the strong mental every time to arrive in the track with the good motivation every time to go in practice with full body strong. So I think it's one of the key of my own passion to give every time the best for arriving the good result every time.
That's good. So now it's your turn to give a shout out to your fans. You have a good following in Malaysia, so give a shout out to your fans.
Assalamualaikum semua peminat-peminat pemotoran di Malaysia. Saya harap pada minggu ni sama-sama kita semua peminat pemotoran di Malaysia bagi sokongan kat semua rider Malaysia yang berlumba di ARRC Racing, dan juga pada saya sendiri, dan saya akan cuba untuk seperti biasa buat yang terbaik, dan insya-Allah saya akan hadiahkan podium dan insya-Allah kemenangan untuk Malaysia. Terima kasih.
Ramlan, thank you, and we wish you the best, and we look forward to seeing you on track this weekend. Thanks to all of you for joining me for this first session, to Nazrul, to Herjan, Kito Abe, and Marcus for joining us. That brings us to the end of the first part of this pre-race press conference. We're going to take a break and come back at 2:30 local time. That's GMT plus 8 hours. And we'll be in Parc Ferme then, talking to a whole bunch of other leading lights from all 5 classes. So stay tuned and come back with us at 2:30 local time. We'll see you then. Thank you.